Woo. Hello, we're live. Couple technical difficulties, but nonetheless, here we are. Oh great, got my elbow in my watercolors. All right, if you are watching this after it was live, you're watching a recording. So you might want to scoot ahead a couple of minutes. I'm going to wait for some of my people to jump in the box here for chat. Hey, Joan, there's one. Early bird catches the worm. Whew, my hands are freezing. I just plugged in a heater down here, and it's not very cold today. How's your weather, Joan? Do I even have to ask? You have snow. Oh my gosh. We had a really cold snap. Gosh, I forget what days it was, but maybe 5 or 6 days ago. And then the last 2 days, at least 2 days, it's been close to 60. But yesterday and today, it's been more misty than rainy and really heavy fog. Hey, Susan. Hey, Norma. Hello, Norma. It just hit me which Norma this is. Guys, this Norma Harrison, she was in our class with Robin out in Arizona. I got to meet her in person. We had a good time. Nancy. Linda. Hello. It's really foggy here. I'm not surprised you guys do in London, but it's unusual for us to have 2 days of fog, and dense fog warnings are up and alerts. Very strange. We expect anything with the weather now. Okay, so I was looking for something on my phone, a picture, the other day, and I found those, remember those Yupo paper watercolor, people start calling them geodes. Here they are. Let me pull some of these out to show some of you that might not know what I'm talking about. Of course, a lot of people never know what I'm talking about. I have been known to ramble. But let me show you a few of these. So these are on Yupo paper. And I just sprayed a circle of water with this continuous spray bottle. And then started adding watercolors and blah, blah, blah. Some inks. And then some salt or gauze. And hey, Nancy. Hey, Flo. So this is one of my favorite ones. And I added some foil afterwards on some. So you can see those shimmery bits. There you go. Down and through here. And over here, that's my rose gold that I make. Blended in. It was all over top of this. Now this had a piece of gauze on it. And I took the gauze off when it dried. But a lot of the paint, and it pulled off. So you can see it really pulled up down to the Yupo on some of them, but it made a cool enough texture that I still like that. And then I added some gold foil, just glued it on there. And I actually really like how that one turned out, now that I haven't seen it for a while. I'll just go through a few of these. I went a little overboard here with the foil. I wanted to try to break this up in the middle, and this really didn't stick, but you got cool texture to it, if you can see that. So I put the glue down. You can see the texture in this foil. I put the glue down with a palette knife and picked it straight up, so it did that dendritic kind of a deal. Bonnie, hello. So here's one. Oh, this was a mishmash. This is when I was doing the different crackle paste experiments. So you can see this is crackle paste all down this side. I'm not going to do crackle today. It takes so long to dry. And then this was a different kind. And then I threw watercolor, salt, and gauze on the middle of it. I didn't take that gauze off. This was just 2 inks. This one's shinier. I sprayed this one with Kmart varnish just to see how it would do. And actually it did good. But some of these had a really, oh, these were nothing. This was just two colors. This was Daniel Smith. I guess it doesn't matter. Lunar Black and Nibs Watercolor Enlightening. Breaks out to that purple and turquoise. You know I like that. And these were some first experiments I did on translucent watercolor. Yeah, not so much here. This one, look at the salt on this one. And I left the salt on there because of what it did. Now I used, let me get the salt out. Where are you? Here we go. I used this Jacquard silk salt. And it's just little salt crystals. There's no shape to them. And when Bonnie, I'm not sure you're allowed to say that word. Oh my God, that was funny. This one is only two colors. It's this Ecoline 700 and this Radiant Juniper Green. Is that focusing? Probably not. And that's all that is those two colors. And then I threw salt in these dark areas. But look at the salt. It's very glistening, glittery. But I'm trying to zoom in so you can see the shape. Do you see perfect squares? Like how? What wizardry happened there? Come on. Work for mama. Come on. There you go. Is that not crazy? Seems crazy to me. Anyway, what was this? Oh. I forget which paints I used. I think that's a couple inks. And then I dotted some of my rose gold around it. Then I laid saran wrap over it. So those bits of silvery white-ish pinky that you see is my rose gold. And that's just texture from the saran wrap. Here's another one. They get kind of boring after a while. But people start calling these geodes. And I see why. Especially these crusty ones. All right. Then I started saying, well, why don't we make different shapes instead of circles? I should have stuck with the circles. Oh, something's sticking here. Speaking of stuck. I know. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. But I get different results. I mean, I don't do anything consistently, and I experiment and do stuff. However you're supposed to use a supply, that's how, hey, Sandra, that's how I am not apt to use it. You're listening paints, I'm going to pour a house. I see Jackie on Facebook all the time. I think she's doing pretty well. I don't think she's back to, feeling well enough or comfortable enough to stream yet. But I think she's doing a little bit of art at home. This one, so when I was doing the crackle paste, this was molding paste that I put 3 swatches of this across this piece. And I thought, what am I going to do? So I used the silver black Yasutomo ink that I throwed on these. And you can see up here where it broke out in the silver and the black, right? And then the lightning watercolor and some salt. And I think that's all I did on that one. But you get a lot of stuff. Here's another one. Yeah. Let's just move on. This had a ring of crackle paste. And some of this paste, like the goldens, hardly crackled at all. You can see here, like that's crackle paste. And some of it where it chipped off, you can see a pattern under it. But a lot of this was just like smooth. It didn't really crackle. The uncrackle paste. This was just rose gold and, oh, shoot, what's that black called? Lunar black. Oh, it looks like an eyeball right there in the middle. Woo, spooky. looking back at me. Another one. I did like this one though. The outside crust of that, I left the big chunks of salt still in there. And I left the... Oh no, that gauze is pulled off. That's so deceiving, even to me. This, see how 3D it still looks? I thought that gauze was still on there. Come on. There we go. But it's not. These that went the other way. That's alcohol ink. It didn't spread at all. This one was the silver black ink, and I dropped white blobs in there, and they were kind of cool how they kind of crawled and fanned out in there. They made little parts of it are genius. Parts of it look like, yeah, waste of Yupo. But yeah, and that one I threw a little bit of those silver trim things in there. It just stuck in there because it was wet and it dried there. This one was kind of cute. This one I went a little too far with the, I don't know what I was thinking with that. I really don't. And this one, I liked it at first, and then this was like, that was just too much. So then I start using what are those called? The foil pens, the little heated pens where you can draw or trace on them. Somebody will think of it. And look, more lightning. Can you tell I love this color? This one, some salt. Whoa, that one's bright. So anyway, there you go. It's going to show you one or two. Showed you the whole stack. Aren't you guys lucky? That's still my favorite, though, I think. I love the way the foil came out on that. That may get framed yet. Who knows? I'm running out of wall space, to be honest. I got a really cool piece of, it's called Copper Splash Art, when we were in Arizona, Sedona. Actually, I got it from a shop in Sedona. And that's taken up a good bit of wall space. It'd be good if Patti sold prints of these. Oh, Lord Joan. Oh, no, I don't really sell anything, Flo. I mean, I used to have a line of rubber stencils way back in the day that I sold online. And then I made some printables from different collages and stuff that I did that I had on an Etsy shop. And then I got hacked off at Etsy and stopped doing it. So, yeah, they made it too much like another job. I already got more jobs than I need. Hey, Eminem. All right, so let's get started on that. Oh, so I want to do that same thing, but I want to try to use some of the Masha colors and throw some Lisilinka in there for a little shimmer and shine. Tilt these over so you can see them on the, what hopefully will end up being a thumbnail. Of course, I am retiring soon, so perhaps I'll do something then, but we shall see. Okay, so I have different sizes of Yupo here, and somebody gave me a big stack of Yupo years ago. And I can't remember who that was. I think it was somebody I was at a retreat with in Virginia Beach, Art and Soul. That could be wrong because they gave me a bunch of their alcohol inks too. They weren't going to do alcohol ink anymore and sent it to me. If I'm remembering wrong and you were the one who gave it to me, thank you very much. Please excuse my memory. It's not good anymore. I mean, really not. Seriously not good. So there's no front or back to Yupo. This is pretty heavy. I'm going to spray this with a little alcohol, and I'm going to see how this reacts. I'm not going to use the alcohol. I'm just going to do this. Should there be any greasy fingerprints on there, that will cause everything you put on it to resist, and you'll get blank spots that all you'll see is a Yupo. But they say you wipe it off with alcohol, that'll cut that oil. I wash my hands before I come down here. I don't know why. And we'll see if we can get most of that off of there. Hey, Judy. All right. Let's see what we got. So I brought out the Lisilinka. Now, they sold out of these really quick, and they're going to bring more color shifts back into their product line in 24. But this is the Galaxy set that I was lucky enough to get a hold of. And this is the Summer Lovin' set. These have color shifters in there. Ooh, those are good magnets. So we might use some of these on there. So if you're itching for color shifters from Lisilinka, try the Summer Lovin' set. It'll hold you over. Okay, now I got to remind myself how the heck I did this before. Oh, I have some new brushes. Hang on, I had them sitting in here getting that whatever that hard gluey stuff is when you buy them, so they hold their shape. I'm gonna sit these out to dry now. Okay, let me ponder this a moment. And oh, that's why that's jacked up. There we go. Let me move that a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna see. Okay, so those two. I think I'll use these two first. And I'm gonna put a little water in a couple of those and let them get hydrated. And now, okay, here we go. Am I into? No, okay, that's not too close. And I kind of just wing these. I know that's shocking that I don't have this completely planned out to every second. But I just try to make, and you won't be able to see this, it's water on white paper, right? But I'm trying to make a circle in the middle of water. And I get bigger and bigger, and I'll let that sit there. And then I used to drop, I'm going to do this because this is what I used to do, and it kind of worked out well. Claire, hey, are you in Portland still? I'm going to put a couple drops. This is the Ecoline 700. See how that just flies out of there? And it gets dry in the center pretty quickly, actually. So I'm going to that brush might be too big. Let me take this one. Let's see what we get with this one. I'm going to take, this is the Ocean Wave Masha watercolor. And I'm going to go just outside of this. And you can see just moving the puddle of water that's around there draws some of that, what is it, E700 or whatever the heck it was, out into it. Right, and just barely, I'm not even touching it. I'm just letting the puddles kind of touch. And now I'm going to get some of this turquoise violet. It's also a Masha color. And going, these don't seem to be traveling as much. And I don't know. Now see how that's drawing that all over there? And I'm not even touching that gray. It's just having its way with the paint. And all these wiggle marks on the brushes, they'll all flatten out because it's Yupo. These paints are going to sit on top of the Yupo and continue to move. So when this dries, it's going to look kind of nothing like that. So I'm going to put I want to do something metallic in there. So I'm going to grab, let's grab this one out of Galaxy. This one is, I think, turquoise, purple, pink shifter in the Galaxy set. And I'm just going to drop some of this right on this inner ring here and see what it does. Because they act really different with the Eco line than they do other watercolors. Well, on Yupo anyway. I'm trying to get all that off. I'm just going to drop that right in the middle of there and see what happens. Because this centerpiece right here is already dry, that center ring. So that may just blob there. It's doing something. Interesting. So, of course, since I just recently got these paints and I haven't done this technique, this is all an experiment to see how they're going to work. Now, I'm going to take an extra, this is just water on this brush, and I'm going to do an outer ring here and barely letting one of those little bristles touch the watercolor that's laying there. So we get that little ghost of an image around there. Now the ocean must be a heavier pigment because that's not moving as much as I thought it would. But the colors are looking marvelous. I just make it kind of bigger and bigger. So as it gets away from the center, I'm not watching chat right now, so I'll try to get to everybody when I... And don't forget, if you guys are chatting to me, put it in all caps. If you have a question or a comment that you want me to see. So when I do get a chance to glance up, I'll see it. Going back to look at chat, sorry. I'm going to grab some gauze from the gauze department that happens to be right behind me. Gauze puts a cool texture in these. I have the salt. So I think what I might do, let me grab, my rose gold is right here too. Let me grab some of that and see how this works. Just a small pan of it. And I think I'm going to go, I'm going to try to reactivate this in here. So this moves and kind of helps get rid of that, just that smooth area there that didn't look like it did much. And let's just drop some of that wherever it goes. Because we can. Okay, now, do I want to put some salt in? Let's do some salt. These don't take very long to do, and this has taken me longer because it's kind of a foreign technique to me now. So I haven't done it for a while. But these puddles on here are pretty thick. So I'm going to sprinkle some salt here and there. No particular rhyme or reason on this one. I'm going to put some salt out in this outer piece of just the clear water, which you probably can't see. And we'll see what that does, if that draws anything else out there. All right, let's go. Oh, I was going to do gauze, wasn't I? Do I want to, though? I don't think I'm going to do it on this one. Now, I need to find a surface that won't bend. Let me use this board here. Try to pick this up. I'll try to get it a little bit closer to the camera. It's going to be very glary because it's all wet. But you can kind of see what that's doing now. And we'll see what it looks like. Actually, you know what? I wonder if I could put it right on top of this heater. That's not hot enough to mess up the board, I don't think. We're about to find out. I'm going to do one. I'm not going to put the alcohol on it. And hang on. I want to get something out of here. Trying to look at the names. Well, of course, that's not going to let me really look at that, is it? Hang on. Where's mine? I can use this little rascal here. Hang on. I can't remember which one of these is lightning. I think this is abyss. These are nibs. This is a granulating palette I put together with other brands that I've had, handmade, that I've gotten a few places. There's some schminky in here too, but when my collection grows beyond the capacity of this, I'll take out some of them. That's not it. That's abyss. I was right for once. Then this must be lightning. Yes, it is. Okay. Of course, it's always the last one. That's okay. Okay. Oh, geez whiz. That's getting a little snug in there. Okay. All right. Where are we in chat? Have I missed anything good? Oh, Kathy Berg. Hello, April. Hello. Keep you out of Paul's hair. Oh my gosh. Get that lubed up there for me. And you know what I want to do? I also want to try some of my bronze. Hey, Jan. My iridescent bronze and the high flow. I'm going to do one with that. And just see what happens there. So I have salt and I have gauze. Salt and gauze. And do I want to, which one is this? This is 700. And I have black. The PH Martin's in black. Every one of them is a crapshoot. You never know what's going to happen. So let's just get her done and hope for a miracle. So again, starting out with circles, getting bigger and bigger. And it's, it's never a circle, but oh crap, that went all the way up there. That's okay. Maybe that'll be the most unique and beautiful one. Hey, Ann, how you doing? I'm doing different watercolor and inks on Yupo to try to make some of the geodes that was on the picture that I posted that I was streaming. Come on. All right. Okay, let's just see what happens. Now this, as we know, is leaking. Some people would be very disappointed that that happened, but accidents happen. Don't say bad words because Gail is not here to enjoy it, number one. But look what that's doing. It's doing what I thought. So let's just add some more in there, just here and there. Okay, remind me not to do that again. Again, the channel for what not to do. All right, let's just add some more water like so and see what happens. Of course, this is acrylic and I'm using a good watercolor brush, but you know, just one of those days. And it doesn't have to be very exact. This is a very loosey-goosey process, as we can see. So this, I'm going to try to drag this one into the fray here. And these are some dry spots in here. See this solid white here? Maybe let me try to bring in a little bit more. Oop, wrong way. See how that's breaking out with those two pigments? It's breaking bad on me. I'm going to put some water in here so these things kind of dance around a little bit better. There's a lot of dry spots in here because it hit dry paper when it splattered, I think. Oh no, it was wet, wasn't it? That's strange. Stranger than truth. You've seen it here. I wonder if I just like sprayed a tiny bit of water in some of these places where it's really kind of clustered up and just let it move. I don't know if you guys can see that moving. All right, now let's, this kind of sprayed out here that I didn't want. Too close to the edges. But look at that turquoise coming out of there. Isn't it pretty? This is going to be a mess. I'm way outside the margins, and that whole little episode there did not work in my favor. But you know, you do what you got to do. Sometimes on Yupo you can just wipe stuff off of there, as long as it's not a staining watercolor. And some of the other Yupo papers, like what is the one? And actually, I have some of it. Oh, I might try one of the black pieces I have with some of the Lisilinka colors. I'm just going to throw some salt on here and some of these bigger puddles. Let's see what happens with that. And shoot, I was saying something. Don't even know what I was saying. I'm telling you, I am getting a little worried about my memory. All right, a little salt. Let's throw a little gauze on there. Yeah, that's just the one color, Joan, the way that the bronze breaks apart. So these are little cheapy gauze pads. But if you unfold them and unfold them and unfold them, you can get a really organic shape of these intersecting threads by just stretching it. Well, you can't really see it there, can you? You can just stretch it any old which old way you want to stretch it. So let's just, I don't know, do I want that whole thing in there? Well, let's just do it. I don't think this is going to end up in the Smithsonian, so I don't think there's anything crucial we got to worry about here. Let's just throw it down there somehow, some way. And then I usually take a brush, and sometimes I'll put some rose gold on there instead of putting it on with nothing. and just tap it in place so it's down into the watercolors. Feels like I know I streamed last week, but I mean, other than that, I haven't streamed for so long because of the problems I was having with my arm and my neck that I feel like I've completely lost my ability. Everything seems foreign. Hey, Fran. Just making another mess. Clearly. Oh, now see, that is actually drying this faster. That's the one. I just still got a couple big puddles in the middle moving around, but that's drying faster than usual. But let me move this. Oh my God, Dave's got all the all the boxes from Christmas decorations on all my flat surfaces. Bless his heart. I'm gonna have to find another flat surface to start stacking these on. I guess these are just gonna have to go on my filing cabinet here. And let me try to move this one. Yeah, this is a mess. But that's okay. Might be my favorite in the end. You know what I want to look for while I'm up? Some of that black. Where are you? I would like Yupo. Craft plastic. I think that's what it is. And then there's another one. Nara. Isn't that it? Nara. And I know I have. Hang on. I see the Nara, but I thought I had. It's white. 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 I know I had some black of this. I wonder where that would be. Wait. Blackout paper. Art parts. Clearly for art blackout paper. Well, we'll try this craft plastic. I think this is a type of Yupo. Sandra Patty sent you. You sent me the neck and shoulder pains. I had 3 shots. Oh no, mine's on my right side. My steroids are. Did they do targeted injections, Sandra, or did they just do a steroid shot like in the general area? 5 years. Hey, Debbie. 5 years ago, when I first had this done, I better keep this with this, or I'll never know what the heck I did. And I'm gonna guess this is gonna work. We don't know. Got some marks on it from the labels. Let's try it and see what happens. 5 years ago, when I first had this happen, I was admitted at the hospital. When I went to the emergency room, I couldn't figure out what it was, and they sent me for they sent me for to a pain clinic, and they gave me a series of 3 spinal injections that were just like in the general area. This time they knew exactly what it was and where it was. So they wanted to target the nerve path for C5 and 6 and C6 and 7. So they put me in the hospital. Hey, Dana. And the radiology team did the injections directly into those nerve paths. They said it would take 24 to 72 hours to feel the full effects of the steroid injections. Overachiever that I am, it took 9 days in my case. Yay. But once it kicked in, I'm still without pain. So now I'm going to physical therapy. We'll see what happens. Sooner or later, they know that I have to have the surgery. So that's not a maybe. That's a for sure. They were supposed to be in the trigger area. Maybe that's what it was. I hope so. I hope they start working fast for you. I got to take this back out a little bit so you can see where the bottom of this paper is, and it's still anywhere near my reach. Which products remain permanent on Yupo? No, I think if it's the product, not the paper. Watercolor and some water-based inks, you can always manipulate or wipe off if you don't like it. But if it's a permanent acrylic, it's pretty permanent unless you can try to get it to peel off. CB! Well, look who the cat drug in. Yours was mine are degenerating discs that are clamping off the nerve path. Yeah, that's different. That's different. Okay, so now how am I going to do this? And what inks do I want to use? I need a metallic ink. I wonder what this will do. This is a new Drop of Shimmer by Kuretake. And I just got the gold one. It's very liquidy. It separates when it sits. You have to shake it, but you can hear it's like water in there shaking it. But I understand that there's a silver. I don't know if there's a copper or what, but somebody else, when I showed them this, said they went out and got 2 or 3 of different colors. But it's by Kuretake. So if I got to think this one out. What colors are going to show on the black? Pretty much just the metallics. Well, let's just throw something down here. This is just water. All right, let's just put some water around here like so. And now let's drop, you know what? I wonder what these would do. These are color wash tints. One is rose gold, and this one is weathered copper. You don't know until you know. So let's get in the know here and see what's the worst that can happen. But let me put some rose gold down. Let's just put some in the middle. I'm going to squeeze that out of there to use it all. That's too pretty to waste it. Watercolor. Is that watercolor? No, this is called Craft Plastic, Fran. And it is like a Yupo. That's the label. It's like a Yupo, Graphics Arts. So I'm just trying that instead of what I was doing here with the Yupo paper. The Yupo. Let's see what happens here if we just do that. Oh, that's kind of pretty. Let's chase that back over here. All right. I don't hate that. All right. What else do I want to put in there? Let's try some Lisilinka here. This is, I think this one's called Blue Butterfly. This is a shifter, a metallic shifter. So let's try to get some of this. Oh, look at that. Turn this so I can reach around here. I'm going to go add more water outside of this. That blue butterfly is one of my favorite out of that Summer Lovin' palette. Let's put some of that in the middle and see what chases what. Now let's go back with some water and let's draw that out a little bit. Now this piece of paper is smaller, so I gotta keep that in mind. And see if that gets like a real light wispy little edge to it like some of those other ones do. And you can't repeat these. If you come up with one that you like, don't ever waste supplies thinking you can repeat it. I promise you, you can't. Now this, I need to get this off of there. And that's a little schmutz right there. That looks kind of, will that take to ever? It takes a good while. Takes a good while. So I'm going to drop, what am I going to drop in there? Let's try some of this gold here. Get this out of my puppet. Oh, I wonder what a little bit of the bronze would do. I wonder. Let's see. Do I want to put it in here? Let's see what happens. Can you see that getting bigger? I wish you could see what that's doing. Let me try to get you in here. I wonder if I just do this. What'll happen here? It's moving all around there. And here. Oh, I'm going to do another little bit in another puddle. Let's see. Well, these are pretty thick puddles. If I put a little bit out here. I'm going to overdo it. Do you feel it? I feel it. My stop button's jammed up. But I'm playing to experiment to see what this will and will not do. Really, that's what I'm doing. Oh, now look at the camera. I don't like that. Looks pretty cool in front of me, but maybe I need to put, what else do I want to put in there? Let me do some of the ocean of the Lisilinka. That's another one in the Summer Lovin' set that I really like. That's a shifter. Let's see, where can I put that? I want to push this yellow around a little bit. So I think I'm going to go on the outside here. And get that sort of. That'll hide some of that gold a little bit and blend it with some. I think the ocean is green and blue, and that might actually even have a little gold in it, but that's okay. Can there be too much gold? I don't think so. Hey, Susan. Groceries. Oh. Okay, now, do I want to do anything else? Do I want to do salt? I guess I should. Maybe it needs a little rose gold brightening here and there. Can't stop, told you. I'm going to try to go. I don't know what's. Oh, you know what? Those, can you see this little black bits in here and here? That's actually the, and here, that's the paper showing through. So let's put a little, some of it kind of cool looking actually. I might leave that there. But I want to break this up a little bit. I'm just going to drop a plop in there and see what happens there. Oh, you know what else I should put in there? White. White does mysterious and wonderful things sometimes. Now that looks a little odd there because it's just, of course, sitting where I put it. I didn't take into account. Let's see if we can make some kind of pattern here. It won't stay because it'll just travel on this. Picking up different pigments and mixing them, but they're all metallic, so they go together. Okay, a little bit of pearl, but that's gonna, I'm gonna have to put too much on here to make any kind of impact and not just look like that did, one blob of rose gold. So it's pretty wet. So let's do this. Let's do, you know what else I might do? I just saw these glitters sitting here. If you see Maramy Small Art doing her little watercolors where she'll use a circular thing and paint watercolor like around the edge of it and make a little imprint, toilet paper rolls shaped different ways, and then make little ornaments. And then she glues some glitters, and I grabbed these two. They just look lovely. So I'm thinking this white one might show up better. If I just drop a little bit in there, I'm doing metallics on black watercolor paper tomorrow. Oh, look at you. Hey, Devin. You can't go wrong with that, Fran. Well, I could, but if you try really hard, you might be able to. Let me put a little bit in here so I can just grab. Oh, look how pretty they are. I'm just going to put a few in here and see if they stick. With the, the binder that's in the watercolors that are on here. Maybe. If not, it's just going to be a pretty mess. Some of these are sinking. Enough. Stop, they said. I can't, she said. Silk scarf rolled up. No, it's watercolors and inks on black craft plastic paper that I believe functions like Yupo. So I want to put some salt down because I've done that on just about all of them. Let's see. Let's do some down here. Trying to see where the thickest puddles are because it'll draw some of that water. Get it to dry a little bit quicker. Okay. I'll have to clean up the little bits that are hanging off the edge here later. Okay, now let's see. Let's see. Where am I going to put this one? Where the heck did I put my board? Oh, there it is. It's white leaning up against white cabinet. So that's a whole lot of, I don't know what there. But I'm noticing that these strokes that I put in there with the brush, they seem to be staying in there longer than they do on the Yupo. The Yupo, they disappear by now. All right, we'll see what happens there. When these finally dry, I will be sure to post them so you guys can see what this looks like in the end with all these different things. Some of them will be a surprise to me because I haven't done this for such a long time and I'm using different stuff. So you can find it pretty easy now, Susan. I don't know what Fran gets over her way, but Stonehenge makes some. And Royal Talons makes some. I know that because I'm looking in my stash and I have it. You can get some handmade ones too. I have some new to me black paper coming from Amazon on Monday. One is a roll and the other one is a different kind of I think it's like a sort of like a deli paper, but it's different than that sort of somehow. Let's see. I want to try some of these Mashas again and see what they do. I'm going to use some of these darker ones down here. Let's see what they are. And some of the Coalmark dark green. Those two. Oh, you know what I should do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the Raku combo. The serpent green and the ultra magenta. I don't have enough room for all these palettes out at the same time, so I'm sort of a little jacked up here. All right, so I'll put that down. Then I'll put down what? Oh, maybe some of this Aurora that's in here in this Somerset. This is one of my favorites. They are so pretty. You can kind of see the shift where that's wet. That's the blue butterfly. And that one's ocean. But I'm thinking about using that one at the bottom. I think that's Aurora. Okay, maybe I'll drop in some Aurora for metallic stuff. And do I want to start it in the center with a little bit of that? You know what? I'm going to do this black instead. Don't ask me why. Or do I even want black? I'm telling you, I have a lot of handmade watercolors. I love Masha's and for the granulation. And actually, Nibs is one of my very favorites too. And actually, I'm going to do one with this lightning. I'll put that over there so don't forget it. She's getting some really good granulating watercolors as well. There's a couple. There's one in France that I got a little bit of that was, what was that called? Something Octorel. I think Christy Rice did a handmade watercolor, not a comparison, but like where she reviewed those, and there was a bunch of them in there. She's the reason I spent a lot of money. Octorel. I think it's Octorel. And there's one Art Oblique. I think it is. I found that one through Aria Bond from Vintage She's Vintage Fables on she lives in Florence. They're pretty cool too. Okay. I'm stalling because I don't know what the hell I'm going to do here. Let's Let's get a little water down. Something's happening here tonight. Oh, because I was spraying it on an angle so much. I'm not going to put as much water down this time. So they have some shot of drying in this century. I don't think I want to put black because I know what these two colors do together and make all those raku-y colors. And I don't want to take away from that. Maybe I'll just put a little rose gold in the middle again to start. Because that kind of travels pretty well. Just squeeze it out so I get all of it. Okay, and now I'm going to go with the Ultra Magenta. And let's just start going around here. I'll drop some of that extra pigment in there too. And now the Serpent Green. Doesn't sound right, does it? Now let's see if this will do this raku bit. Oh, this, I'm almost out of water on this side. Let's go over here and start. Let me bring in some real quick. Hang on. You might not be able to see the whole thing, but I want you to kind of see what happens here. And using these, again, these are my lovely favorites, but I've never done them on Yupo before, so I don't know how they're going to move, how heavy they are, and all that good stuff. I'm going to get some water and just barely touch this outer edge. See how that just pulls that out? Just adding that water like that. It gives it more fluidity. Look at that big word. CB, write that down. Date and time. Hey, Lena. See all those colors happening down there from those two? So I need to make this, I want this to blend a little more up here. Can I make it do it? Or am I going to just make a hole? I wonder if I put some through here, what would happen? Let's just do it. Break that up a little bit. Devin. Does your hair color look anything like this, Devin? One would hope not. See, that's dry in the center again. So I'm going to put, you know what? Oh, I said I was going to do Aurora with this one. Let me get some of this up here. I didn't wet that. So I'm going to let that sit for just a second. Let's mix this in. Oh, wow. Look at that. Can you see that? You probably can't see it. Let me pull you in all the way. And you're really not going to see a whole lot of the area. That's all we got. I'll try to hold this up when I move it to try to let you see how this was like doing like little twists in it, and then the twists spread out. I'm just going to go here and there, see what happens with this. I've never heard myself be this quiet for this long. It's disturbing. Let's try to get some of this out here, maybe. All right, I'm going to take a little bit more water and get this, see if I can get this to travel a little bit. And this green is starting to dry already. Let me get more green pigment put in there. That aurora looks so good in there. See all those strokes that I'm putting in there? They tend to flatten out more on the on Yupo. Oh, I forgot I got this so zoomed in here. So let's see what we can do here with making this kind of wisp out a little bit more and get like an aura around it. Look at that big word. So I think, I don't know if it's the binder that's in the Masha paints that's heavier, that they don't move as much as some of my other ones from previous times when I did this. But you can't hate that, people. How long does it take for watercolor drawing, Yupo? It takes a while, and it depends where you are. You know, like Robin always says, in Arizona, I mean, it's so dry there, things dry a lot quicker. And it's, I mean, I'm not outside, but it's very humid here today. It's been foggy with fog warnings for the last 2 days, which I don't think I've ever seen that in my life in this area. And I've been here pretty much all these 66 years. Well, I was in Fredericksburg for 15 years. That doesn't count. I want to try to get rid of these little, you know what? I think I'm going to leave them there. Now that I look closer, those little white strokes there are where the paints are resisting. And they're bordered by orange and sitting in that little sea of hot pink. Whether they stay like that or not, I don't know. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little magenta out here. This is ultra magenta again. Let's see what happens there. Oops, big drop. Let's smush that around a little. So now I think I'm going to have to go around with this with some water to get that to bleed out, because that ended up really, hey Kathy, that blended up really dark there. So let's, you know what, I'm going to put some of this aurora on my brush with all the water. I'm just barely touching that edge with the bristles. And it'll coax its way out of there. now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go this way and try to get this pulled in here again. That green dries pretty quickly, actually. This looks like it's I wish you could see it. It's like like the colors that are granulating are in different layers. And when I move this, I can see this fiery orange red where the two mix underneath of that. And I can see purple underneath of there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Probably not. That's okay. And I like how this little wispy bit of the Aurora, I just love to see how they move like that. And sometimes they get real feathery out there in the edges. That I think looks really cool too. I'm going to put a little bit more out here. And it kind of will swirl in the direction that you're going. I want some of that to move a little bit out there. Come on, work with me, baby. I think this one's going to be really pretty, actually. I don't want to do too much more to it. A dragon's eye. Oh, yeah. And that's two colors of watercolor. That's the Masha Ultramarine Magenta and Serpent Green. And I think did I put a little bit of rose gold in the middle to start with? Or I don't remember what I did. There's some Aurora in here, which is this color here at the bottom. There's some of that in there. That's the shine. But all those purples and blues and oranges and pinks and the green and the yellowish green and everything that you see are from those two colors. This might look like a piece of raku. Now, should I salt it? I think I'm going to have to put salt in there. What? That's only two colors. Yeah, that's the two colors. It's serpent green and ultramarine magenta. That's what I've done on a watercolor paper too. When I blend those, like these two, this right here from last week, those are those two colors on watercolor paper. Right here, it sinks into the cotton and granulates. But you see those variations in those colors. And this is the same paints on Yupo. It's shocking. Look at the reflections of my light in there because of the. No, you can't do it. I can't get it out of there. I'm still debating with those two little streaks there if I want to let them stay. I think I am going to let them stay. But I do think I need to put a little salt in here. I mean, this wasn't like I couldn't repeat it. It'll never look just like this again, ever. But I'm going to get some out here in this watery light colored bit here. This will go real light. When this pigment gets sucked up by the crystals, it gets pulled out of the water and it kind of attracts to the salt. You can already see it happening there. See where it's taken up some of the, it's got white space around the salt. And let's run a little bit around here. Some of it I do want to stay dark, but I'm going to get a little bit where the water is the deepest. Let me put a little bit out here. And this is that Jacquard silk salt that I'm using. Oops, hell, I'm zoomed in. Jacquard silk salt that I'm using. And I'm anxious to see with these watercolors if the salt crystals come out like they did when I showed you the other ones earlier, where they looked like they were squares. These are just kind of crystals of salt. And yeah, it was kind of crazy what happened there. Okay, let me try to uh-oh, where's my board? I just moved that last one on. Really? Oh, it's up here on the, I left it where I put the black one. Okay. Now, I think I don't want to throw any of that glitter or anything in here. I want to see how this comes out. Let me see if I can get that up and try to keep it even. See all those colors? If you didn't see it, you wouldn't believe it. I see it, and I don't hardly believe it. All right, let me find. Come on, give me another flat spot here. Oops. Mm-hmm. Let's try that. What's this one? Okay, it's almost dry. It's still got a little puddle. The first one still has a little puddle. It's funny. Some of the stuff dries really quickly. I mean, not immediately, but close to it. Like this Ecoline stuff. When I put it in the middle, it travels in the water, and it pushes all the water out. And oh, let me zoom out a little. Let me in a little bit. Out. So you can see what happens here at first. This time I'm going to go back to my old faithful lightning. And I'm going to start out with a drop of E7000. And then I'm going to add maybe a little bit of juniper. We'll see. Okay. That's what we're going to do. That's what I was talking about earlier, Patty. Oh, hang on, Fran. The white space makes it look like micro. Oh, okay. Bye, Devin. Thanks for popping in. What time is it? 2:48. All right, let's go. I see a little dry patch in there. Better put a little bit in there because this E7000 will make every once in a while you can get it to go. This is actually one of the smaller ones. I have some bigger ones. A friend of mine years ago, and God bless, I can't remember who it is. See, this one's even bigger. She had all this Yupo cut up and was deciding not to do alcohol inks anymore and sent it all to me. And I've used a lot of it over the years. That's one drop of this E7000. And I'm surprised it didn't travel more than that. It usually goes crazy. 700. E700. So let's wrong brush. Let's get some lightning on here. This is the Nibs watercolor lightning. See how I'm not even touching it and it's drawing it over there. I guess just the kind of the percussion of me tapping on the water, that the water is moving toward it, even though I'm not. And see how that looks like it's just, I don't know, Payne's Gray or something. Just you wait. Now it might be mixing. Of course it's mixing with the E7, the 700. I keep saying E700. It's just Ecoline 700. Let's put another one out here a little bit. Oops. Now, that's moving on its own, but I want to try to get this. So go a little more, move it a little bit more. That's so weird. It's not moving like I remember it. You can see this starting to break apart now. Okay. Only get the 6x6 pad in Denmark. Oh, a Yupo, really? I'm going to have to talk to the authorities about that. You can see this starting to split and get a purplish cast in here and see the turquoise coming out here. Now I'm going to, this is dry in the middle. That little lighter gray bit right there is dry. Just because it's dry, I'm going to put a little drop of this. That's 2 drops of this Radiant P.H. Martin's Juniper Green. Do I want to do that? Let's do this Galaxy. These are the more similar colors. Any more Ecoline inks act like the black does? I don't know, but we'll try to figure that out. This just has a little tiny bit of the Galaxy. I forget the name of the color that's in the Galaxy set of Lisilinka, just to get a little bit of shimmer in there. But I think in here it's going to need a little rose gold to knock down the colors that are in here. How should I do that? I'm just going to mess it up. See what happens. See how they're, what you see there now? Well, maybe you don't. You can't see that bright. It's this color. Oh, you can't see that either. That color showing up. When it's zoomed in like this, for those of you who don't stream, it is quite the pickle when you got it zoomed in like that. Do I want to? I'm going to take just a little bit of that. I'm going to squeeze it on my brush with the eyedropper. That's different. And let me see what happens if I put a little ring of this. Ooh, that's bright. Oh, I'm really messing this one up. Good Lord. You know, some days what's in my head never makes it to the paper. And a lot of days, that's probably a good thing, to be honest. But let's do some. I have this Amsterdam. Is that white or is that? This one's pearl. I'm going to put some of this pearl in here. Let's see what happens here. Oh, whoa. I think this is going to be heavy and just kind of sink. We're going to find out. I'm going to put, oh, look at that. Oh, look at you. So what happens if I do that like that? Oh, or like that? Stop. Wait and see what happens. Kind of looking like it's looking back at me again. But can you see that frost skimming across the top of all that and spreading out? I don't hate that. But this, before this stains, I think I remember that this juniper stains. So I want to get it a little more feathered than that while I have an opportunity. Holy moly, look at that moving. I'm going to need a bigger piece of Yupo. These are hard to do small. Well, I'm not trying to do it small, but I mean, if you were, I mean, part of the beauty of it is just letting it do its thing and giving it space to do it. I like how these look fringy over here. And you can see the purple of the, well, I can. You can see the purple in there of the lightning that's kind of busted up in there. Oh, I don't know. What should I do? I feel like I want to go back in and just make another little ring of the lightning outside of that ring. Oh, my brain's telling me no, but my heart's telling me yes. Oh, what the hell? Let's just do it. And see, that looks like that Payne's grayish kind of black, whatever. But it's not. See, this is pushing back the other way now, I think. Over there, sort of looked like it was. But it also only travels like where you put the water on here. I haven't had it go, beyond on its own without my permission. All right, let me point out a little bit. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Everybody hold on to your lunch. Interesting. That pearl on there really looks kind of cool. And bits of that, Fran, just so you know, the fringes of this, where the frost of that pearl white, that was Amsterdam, though. That was this Amsterdam pearl ink. Right? That's what I put on there because it had the pearl in it. But that pearl kind of floated across the surface, and it appears that some of these areas are drying, and where this is just literally soaking wet. I hate to move that. These fringes look really cool over here into that dark, but you can see here where this part of this lightning is starting to split again, and you can see a stripe of it over through here. It's got a lot of water in it, so when that water starts to separate, you'll start to see a little magic. Now, and also remember, Fran, that this is on a lot of water when I'm doing this. I haven't just put this Ecoline 700 on Yupo and see what it does. It's in a lot of water, and it pushes the water out of the way, and it dries pretty quick. I don't hate this. I'm thinking about some salt. And this whole center is getting really pretty dry. Sometimes when I've put some whites down, the pigment apparently is heavier, and it'll sink to the bottom of the puddle. And like, I put them away. I showed you that one earlier where that happened. But see how this is going to get dark around the outside of the circle? See this wispy of a shadow here? Now, it may move when I move it. It's a big puddle. Doesn't take much to displace that water and shake it up a little bit on my traveling to wherever it's going to roost. Actually, I think I might put this one over here and move. What's going on with this black one? And see, this black one has one big puddle. Oh my gosh, and I'm just moving. See the puddle on this one side, the blue and the green moving around? And that's what that one looks like for right now. I gotta put this in because I'm gonna put that one. I'll put that right there. That looks safe. As long as Oakley doesn't come down here, that'll be all right. Yeah, so now I'm pondering the salt. Oh, here it is over here. I think I might put some in this. That's pretty round though, isn't it? I'm looking in the thing. Thanks, Joan. Hey, Marta. Welcome. So you're seeing more purple. Let me pull you in close again. That's as close as it'll go. Zoomed in. Yeah, you can't really, like there's purple all around this. Oh, looking at this, it's a good thing Gail is not here. It's doing some cool stuff over here too. Let's see if I can move it. See where this is kind of wisping in from the outside and these little ragged edges like that. I love that. Up here, it's starting to do something too, because they're kind of bouncing back in. All right, I'm going to drop a little bit of salt on this turquoise area here. It's got a lot of water. Maybe a little bit up through there. And I think, I'm trying to see where the depths are. This is starting to dry right in here. All right. All right, that's all the salt I'm going to do. But you can see it already. See what it's doing? It's pulling the pigment, slurping it up off of from the water just laying there. See what I mean? Okay, Charmaine. Hey, Charmaine. Welcome. Oh, pretzel salt. That's usually a real big granule. That probably look cool. What's the worst that can happen? Try it. Don't listen to me. You'll be blowing up your studio. Okay. I can't sit here and look at this all day until it dries. Where the heck did I put that board again? Oh, it's right behind me. Lordy. Let me see if I can lift this without shuffling it anymore. See all the purple that's coming out of there? Now we shall see how that goes. All right. I kind of like that one. You can get my hang of it back. I don't know what those ones were that I put the foil on. What color I used. They got those real light wispy bits. There's another small. Oh, let's see. These are all the same size. No, this one's smaller. Okay. This one I think is 12 by 12. Hey, Dar. Thank you. All right, let's see. Let's think this one out. So I want to try this high flow again in a little more controlled environment, if you know what I mean. So let's, I'm tapping, you know what that means. God help us, I'm thinking. What is that? Oh, Higgins White. Okay. I also brought some Seth sprays out. I don't want to spray because that gets, I mean, it's too much. I'd have to dip a little bit in there. That means trouble. CB, don't hurt my feelings. Oh, here it is. Did I start that last one out with the 700 in the middle? Does anybody remember? An eyeball. That's what it looks like. Got my eye on you, Norma. All right, let's do. All right. All right, let's do. I think I did, and it just kind of laid there, right? It didn't explode. Let's see if this one explodes. That's 2 drops fell out of there. See, it's still not doing what it did before. Isn't that interesting? Let me put a drop of Doc Martens in there. This is black. Just for giggles. Is that going to make it do anything more? Oh, look at that. See that? Oh, no, you can't see it, of course. You still can't really see it. There's like a ring of light gray. You can kind of start to see it now. That where the 2 colors are interacting. I'm going to see. I hate when it gets asymmetrical. It is water, and you can't control it. So you got to just live with it. Embrace it. I think I'm going to do something different. I think I'm going to use this color wash tint again, Tattered Angels. This one's called Weathered Copper. See the copper sits down the bottom? Let me shake that bad boy up. I'm going to try this and some of my bronze again because they got the same kind of color-ish thing going on. Yep, the Radiant is pushing out the other one. So I'm going to use this in a pipette. The pipette exhaled inside the bottle and sent the froth out of the bottle. Luckily not onto the paper. All right, I'm just going to do a little ring of that. And let's see what happens. If the copper's going to settle on the top or the bottom, I don't know. Strange brain scan. Did you see my films, Janice? That's probably what's going on right here. Okay, I'm going to just take water and I'm going to kind of mingle these 2. See what happens. I'm going to kind of bob this up and down, see if it makes any kind of pattern. That it won't hold, I know that. And now I'm going to do that inside here because that's getting weird. But you can see the copper coming up on the edge here a little bit, maybe. Can you guys see that? Okay, now what did I say I was going to do? Well, I need to feather the water stops here, so I need to add a little. I wonder if my desk is not level, perhaps. This water goes, this is a lot of where the water goes out to here over on this side. But this side, it stops here. Yeah, rude. I'm really lop-eared here. Let's try to make that a little bit bigger. But she keeps going down. All right, I'm going to do this. Put the rag over the top of it to shake this up. This is my bronze High Flow by Goldens. My magical little princess. Let's see, that's getting dry already. There's a dry spot in the Yupo right there. And the rest of it's all water. Let's see, here's drying out a little bit. Don't be drying out. I need the water. All right, let's see what happens. Do I want to just put it on the brush? No, we'll just drop it. We'll be brave. It flew everywhere last time. Now I can't get it to move. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just started to do it and I can't stop. But see down here where it's wetter, what it's doing? I'm gonna let that sit there for a moment and see what's. Well, maybe I'll go up here. Maybe I'll make the whole ring bigger. Let's wait a minute. Almost looks like a sundial kind of a thing. But see where this? Can you see this little skim from here? It's a real light shimmery skim that came over the water from these of the bronze. Huh. Glennis, hi. What happens if you turn the paper every once in a while? What happens if you turn the paper? You mean rotate it like this? Not much. I don't think. Good idea, though. Oh, look, it is coming back a little bit. Thank you, Glennis. Interesting. All right, we'll let that sit there a minute. But before these dry, I think I need to do a little dispersing. Go another ring around here with water. And this is starting to dry around there, so I wonder if I ought to go interrupt that process. Something is going off on my phone. Front door. If I had to guess, I'd say that's a delivery. Okay. That did work. Look what it's done, Glennis. Thankfully, we have somebody here that's got some sense. That made a huge difference. So now what am I going to do to keep these wet? You know what? I think I'm going to run a little ribbon of some, let me go up in here, like between the fringe and between the bronze, and drop a little bit of lightning in there. Which I don't think that's going to help the spots that have already kind of dried, obviously, but so this is going to I'm going to have to do something in here where these are drying. Oh, look how that one here. It looks like a ginkgo leaf, and it's just, you can't see it, unfortunately. Well, you can right through here. If this area right here, this little arch, that real fine gold or bronze shimmer, it keeps getting bigger, and it looks like it's coming out of there and wiggling its way across the water. I'm going to turn this again and see if I can get some of that water to go where this is drying off more. But this, yeah, I got to do something with this. The way that's drying around there. Do I want to put, I wonder what would happen. Well, it's got to be wetter to do anything. So let's just add some water like in between these. And whatever blending happens, happens. This is wet. This is not wet so much. That purple's coming up in here from the lightning. Look how that's running there. Holy schmolies. I gotta get these more wet. Hey, hon. Oh, wow. Look at them spreading now when this is, I guess, uphill and pushing all that bronze around. I'm just going to, like it or not, I'm just going to have to bust these up. It's making some strange things happen there. I think the bronze may not be the way to go on these. Turn this around again. It's looking pretty cool with some of the... See, that bronze just dries that paper around it again pretty quick. I might just have to totally wet those and drag them around. See how it's still, no matter what I do, it's still pushing it out and making a white dry line around it. I may just have to give in to the process and let it do what it wants to do. I think I will. But I am going to go with just a little bit more water out here to get a little more airy wispiness around the edge. Look how that's moving. Or is it off the screen? Of course it's off the screen. See what it did up there? And these dry bits here, I wonder if I turned it over here, what's going to happen? I might just let those be dry because it's really pretty in there when you see it. It's got the turquoise from the bronze, and a little purple is floating around and through here. You can see it in different spots from the lightning. Okay, I hear a voice in my head saying, "Stop it! I'm so an abstract." Wait, I call it yours. Geode rocks. Yeah, I was doing these a couple of years ago, and I never thought about it, but somebody was saying they look like geodes, and I thought, huh, they kind of do. After I get the salt and everything on them and they crust up, they look kind of rocky. I'll show you guys a couple. What am I going to do with this? Probably going to put some salt on it. Do I want to put any gauze? I haven't put any gauze anywhere. Maybe I'll put a little bit. Little teeny tiny piece in a couple places, maybe, possibly. So these unfold to this one very thin, delicate layer. Okay, let's see. I'm thinking I don't know where to put this now. Some of it's really wet, some of it's not so wet, but I hate to interrupt the darkest part with all the bronze floating on it. I think that looks pretty cool. And churning it like this is getting some real wispy bits with the little bit that's still moving. Okay, I think I'm going to back up on the, am I so indecisive lately? What's that about? I usually just throw her down there and whatever happens, happens. That's too pretty to cover up too. Maybe we'll just do salt on this one. A little bit of salt. My daredevil, Susan, art daredevil. It's like a pirate with a leg. Peg, I think you meant a peg leg. All right, I'm going to put some around this bit because it's really wet right there. And I think that'll look very geodey when it dries. New word, just made it up. And do I want to put some in the middle of that dark bit? Yes. Yes, I do. Oh, kind of fell out of my hand while I was deciding, but we just committed. Wow, that looks so different when I look at the screen from, when you see it, like that makes it look like it's at a distance to me, but yeah, I'm not wild about what these did. They need to be mixed in, or maybe the paint needs to be watered down, and that is the high flow. So I have to water that down a little bit more, I believe. All right, what time is it? 3:23. Okay, let's I'm gonna do one more. Sit that right there. See what happens. That's on top of my heater. If you hear a big boom and I'm no longer on the air, somebody call 911. So let's see. I'm gonna do this. And then after I do this, I'll show you guys some of the other ones I did that I showed at the beginning. So it'll be a repeat for some of you. But I wanted to sorry, Fran. See you, little scooter. April. I'm thinking again. Hey, you know what? I wonder. Let's do something different. Let's do like little blobs here. And let's do a bigger one here. And one in there. It's not exactly a circle. And then maybe somehow, oh, that just connected anyway, so, oh well. You know, you can't win them all. They're kind of separated. So let's do a little test for Fran. I'm going to put this, that's the 700. That's really weird. I wonder if the paint's just older and thicker or something. I don't know. Here's this radiant purple. We haven't used this. Let's put a drop of that into these. Whoa, that's that's a little strange. I didn't expect that reaction. Let's do a juniper green over there. See, they're just kind of like sinking. Let's do the radiant black over there. What the heck? That's so weird. Let me grab a couple other ones. Let's see. Here's an indigo. Here's two other eco lines, 654 and 533. Yeah, they're all just kind of plopping. They're all ploppers. That was 2 drops. That's an indigo. How rude. I don't know why they have to be ploppers. I'm going to do this. I'm not giving up on my bronze. Of course, these two are connected now, but whatever. Let's just see what happens. See, now most of that lays there, but there's an aura around it. Huh. Patty, a bunch of my ink solidified. Huh, yeah, it could be. This is the pearl white. And look, that's pushing this ring up. Can you see that moving that? The most of it stayed there, and it's pushing into that and kind of made that knot around. All right, let's just do this now. Let's do something crazy. I'm going to take my lightning, and I'm just going to connect the dots here and see what happens. I'm going to get that one all mixed up in here now. See what happens. See how that's pushing everything out? It's still got this drying effect to it. And here's the pearl. Very strange. Now I got bubbles and everything. I can mash the bubbles. Paul had his fingers on my keyboard. Paul, don't make me come over there. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, let's try to make these do something else here. See, that keeps drying in the middle there. Like this does. Let's try to get that mashed up. This is going to be a mess. But You don't know. See this? Look how far I'm away from this, and it's drawing that this way. Got a white spot in there. I'm going to connect these. Don't ask me what I'm doing. Paul, I remember you being a little more obedient. Look at this hard line this stuff made here. I don't like that. Let's try to make that go away. And I don't want to mix these enough that they become one new color. Maybe I need to drop more of the inks in here. Let me spray this with a little more water. And then drop something dark. This is the indigo. Maybe a little purple down there. That's a bubble. Looks like a little orb float. It won't pop. What the heck? Maybe that's what's happening to these. They're just getting a little old. I think this has something in these metallics. Now this was the Amsterdam pearl white and the Golden's bronze that keep drying this area over here. Like they take up all the air in the room. All right, you know what? I'm going to let that. And now we're just going to throw some salt before this does it. Actually, that looks pretty cool like that. If you'd see a close up, which you can't. Give me some salt. I'm going to really doctor this one up a little bit. Let me get some in here before this gets crazy. Again, maybe that'll stop it. Let's do that, and let's throw some gauze on here. Let's just do it all. This will be the finale. I'm going to cut this in some weird shapes. And kind of pull it and twist it a little bit so it's kind of mangled up. And not just an evenly spaced pattern. Now I'm going to put what I've done before is get my rose gold and kind of add some of that in there. To help tamp it down. Give me another piece. Give me another. Give me another. All right, let's cut this in half and see what we end up with. Get down there. There you go. Sometimes when you get these loose threads, it looks really like I like how that looks more than I like how that looks. Maybe I can pull it out. Or not. Leave well enough alone. Let's see what I want to do over here. Let's put this one over here somewhere. Watch, this will come out my favorite. Let's lay this down. See the string coming all the way down here. Sorry, not looking at the chat at the moment. All right. Yeah, I don't. It looks like a big dark black blob, lucky blue blob. But it is what it is. This is really wet. I'm gonna put a little bit more salt down there. You can really see that lightning doing its thing here with the granulation. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that much of my thing. Let's put some of this over top of here. Maybe I can pull some of that pigment up through there. Oh, that is changing it, actually. Can you see that lightning up here? All right, let's see. I'll post pictures of these so you guys can see what's happened. Okay, stop. Now, I'm going to let this one just sit. Well, you know what? This isn't even, though. Doesn't matter. Yeah, this one's nothing to write home about. I had this one sitting over on the heater on top of that board. So that's almost dry. I mean, there are parts of it that are lovely, but overall, not good with the bronze in there. Oh, I said I was going to show you guys. Let me look at the first ones. Maybe some of those are dry off the handle. Oh, Lord. Oh, man, the one with the Masha colors, it looks so cool. It's drying. Oh, no, it still looks cool. It was on an angle and looked kind of weird. It's all right. It's okay. Let me show you the ones. Same ones I did before. Hang on. Oh, yeah. I forget about some of the stuff I've done. That's probably for the best. Okay, this is going to be tricky now because I can't sit them on my desk. I have to sit them on a drawer and then fan them across. I wish I could remember what colors I did this with. I know rose gold, and I think I started out with the I keep saying E700, Ecoline 700. I'm going to you know what? I'm going to go back and try to find that video and see, because that's one of my favorites. And I added this foil at the end. And I had gauze on here and I pulled it off, and you can see where it ripped up like everything down to the Yupo, but it still looks like a cool texture. And see the little shiny salt crystals that are in there? Let's see if I can get them to shine. Where are they? Up here in this little bit. Come on. There you go. They kind of look like glitter in there. But the salt dissolves. It's so weird. It dissolves, but it changes. I'll show you in a minute. This one, I got a little crazy with the foil, unfortunately, but you can see some of the salt over here, what it looks like. Some of the salt fell off. Some of it I tried to scrape off, and then I just started letting it stay on there, and most of it does. Come on, work with Mama. There you go. And there's one area, I don't know what the heck I was thinking when I got crazy with the, but I do like the texture and the foil. The glue that I used, you put it on with a palette knife and just lifted the palette knife and snapped it up so it did like a dendritic thing. What, this one, CB? Is that what you're talking about? This was an experiment gone partially bad. This is when I was putting different crackle pastes. This is, I don't know what kind anymore. 2 different kinds of crackle paste. It looked pretty cool. And that's just the nibs lightning over top of that. But look how that separated and fell in the cracks and different stuff on there. There's some salt on there, and it peeled off in some places. And then this one over here was a much finer, but I did put nibs on top of that. And you can see the way it came apart was different. And these, I just left the gauze on top of these because I figured it would rip the whole thing to shreds if I tried to pull that off. I mean, that one's, you know, that one's shiny because I tried Kmart varnish on it and it worked. I just wanted to see if anything would move again on Yupo when I did that. And then these were some, I just kept this to remind myself, don't do this again. But those, I used some schminky stuff in there and it didn't, all these white dots were from a spray. It's basically alcohol in a spray. They call it some kind of a texture spray or something, but it just, you can smell the alcohol and it does what alcohol would do if you'd sprayed it. This is just 2 colors. It's lunar black. You can see the granulation on the Yupo, what it does in the lunar black. And then up here, it looks pretty cool. Because it's still moving. You get that wispiness because it doesn't just lay there and looks like pepper. It keeps moving. The one you were just holding with the gauze would be good to copy and blow up certain areas. Oh, the one with the crackle paste on it? Is that what you're talking about, CB? I'll put these in a stack for when I retire. I use several different ones, Susan, and I have to go back to the video and try to figure it out myself. I had Goldens, TriArt, probably Liquitex. I had 3 or 4 different ones I was just playing with. And this is the lightning, the turquoise and purple. That's all it is lightning and lunar black. This one was another kind of a fail. This is on translucent Yupo, so you can see behind it. I mean, up close, it's kind of cool looking, but it's not frame worthy by any means. Again, would love to know those colors. I'll have to do that tonight. If Dave's watching a game or something I'm not interested in, I'll get on the computer and look back at my old videos. I don't know. Is it just me or do I see a lab's face sticking out of there? And over here, it looks a little suspicious, like something. I don't know. What is that? A seal or I don't know. But I had gauze on here. When I lifted it up, it like lifted up everything. I don't remember what was on there. But don't do that. This one, I think, is when they start calling them geodes. And this was 2 colors. I believe this was the Echo Line 700 and the Radiant Liquid Watercolor in Juniper Green. That's all that was. But this is the one that I can show you what the salt did. Same salt. You guys were here early. You saw this. But see how they're like perfect squares? Some of them, they're not square in the container. I don't know how that, I don't know what happens. Look at that. It's freaking me out, man. But see how crusty that looks? So that's when somebody started calling these geodes. I don't hate that. This one was completely different. I don't even know what 2 colors these were. I think it might have been Juniper and Violet in the Radiance. And I threw some rose gold in there and then I put saran wrap over it. And it did that as it sat overnight to dry. Looks cool though. I know. How does it form into perfect squares. And I think it might be the paint that it's on too, because this one had a lot of salt. Well, it's a little bit of squares. I can see them here. So this was 700 nibs. And I don't know, what was that? Another little ring of 700 maybe? I don't know. But some of the salt, you know, you can see some up there. But see how it pulled all the pigment out. This one I remember was really dark around the edges. That must have been lunar black. Because see how it's kind of peppered underneath of there? With salt drew it up. But I think that might have been lunar black. And it's a little rose gold around the edges there. See that flash? Let's see. This one's kind of cool. Two eyeballs looking at us again. But you can see how that salt is like, it looks like glitter in there when the light hits it. I'm just mesmerized by that. I wish you could get it to stay on there. I guess with Kmart varnish, that might seal it in a little bit. I mean, it's not like it's going to get wear and tear. It's just going to, well, now it is because it's stacked on top of 50 other ones. And here's one I went off the rails trying to do different shapes and different things with different products. I'm saving it as a lesson in what not to do. This one, I think this one came out pretty cool. This was modeling paste. I took modeling paste and just had it piled up with texture. Can you see the texture on that? I just let it dry, and then I thought, oh, what am I going to do? I took that Yasutomo silver black ink, and I put that on top of all 3 strips of this modeling paste. And you can see it, that it's separated into that bluey silver and black. That's what that is. And then in between each one, it's nibs. And that's all that's on there. And they just kind of ran together. And then the salt's real crusty over here. You can see that again. But that's all that was. It's kind of mesmerizing. That the lightning, that same one. So these are more crackle paste experiments that went bad. This was Golden's, and it hardly crackled. Where is it? There it is. It's so fine that it didn't even really act weird with the paint on it. Here's some. I mean, it just now up here, it started to peel off the Yupo, and you can see a crackle pattern under it where it fell through, even though the cracks were really fine. I think it was the Tri-Art that made this specific alligator skin pattern. It's kind of coming back to me. Here's some of that right now. It's on the edges of this circle. See that? It looks almost like scales. And I just had it, it's over here too. And you can see some, it doesn't stick to the Yupo. But I just had I put not a whole ring, but I put a blob of it like a semicircle around here. And that was just all lightning. That's all that one color. A little crazy when you think about it. Oh yeah, Tri-Arts. Okay. Yeah, and it just doesn't. The Yupo is just too slick. It doesn't stick to it. This was, I don't know what this was, but it was in a tube, and I took a swipe of it down through here, and it looked kind of cool. But when it dried, you could just see it. It was lifting up everywhere. So I took. I think I put lunar black over it, and then I went over it with rose gold, and for a few minutes it looked really cool. After that, not so much, but I still like it. Let's see if you can see different colors that were there, and it just mostly just peeled off, but it lifted up off of the paper when it dried. Like some of the scales were like, you know, had one edge up, But this was just nibs out here that had, it was nibs and rose gold. That's what that one was. When I say nibs, I mean the lightning. I should say the lightning. This was just lunar black and rose gold and some salt. You know, it's just, sorry. This one wasn't bad. You can see the rose gold flash in there. I don't like it how it didn't drift. It just kind of like stayed there. But the salt was kind of cool over here. And actually, I think, yeah, the salt's gone there. There's no salt there. That's just the pattern that it left, where it looks like it's still there. Hello. Can we focus? Can we focus? Oh, seriously. There you go. See, it looks like it's still there. It's not. Now, it is up here where the green part is a little bit. But you can see how fine it granulated. That same salt. Let me see if I can get this to flash where it is. It's flashing on my side. It's all up through here. It looks like fine glitter that catches the light. You can't hardly see it. There you go. You can see a little bit of it. It's real fine. Oh. I had one scale that only had one edge down. Yeah, it's that's a shame. I thought I had a good idea there, but this stuff is so slick. So this is, now see, I don't know why I can't get this feathering like that anymore. I've lost my touch. But that's just the nibs lightning. And I added water rings and like another ring of it as I got out, and big water, and then another edge of that, and then salted the rim of it and put a piece of gauze on here. So look at the gauze. Come on. There you go. It looks like it's still there, but it's not. It's gone. I peeled that one. But it's you just really get that 3D look to it. And then the salt around here, you know, it got really fine up in different places. See where those real small bits are? There you go. It's kind of, but they're so small there. It's the same salt. And look at these. There's big granules here next to it. I don't know if it just like, it was really thick water and it just saturated for a while for it to dissolve and kind of disperse through the water. And then when it dried, it was tinier bits. But there's big bits right in there with it. It's a mystery. But I look at that fringe of that dark purple in there, how fringy that came out into the water. Can't hate it, people. Even on the ones that have flubbed up. This one, not a fan. I tried alcohol ink in there. It just plopped and laid there. It wouldn't disperse at all. Yeah, not a fan of that one. This one was some kind of crackle paste at the top that started to fall off. And I decided I was going to put the silver black on it to see what it would do. And it started to look, oh, see, there's a big hunk of it falling off of there now. And it's ruining my bit here. Oh, no. I'm going to try to get that edge dry so it doesn't keep running off of there. Sweet Moses. There we go. I think I got it. So you can see where the silver fell down into the cracks and it made the black, it made the rest of the gesso the crackle paste black, but the silver, and see the outline of silver around it. It looked cool there before it all started falling off again. And I had some little, I don't know, there were some kind of, what are they called? I don't know. They're little decorative things. They're not adhesive. They just kind of stuck like I'm hoping the other glitter sticks. But here's where I was talking about, Fran. The white is heavy and it sinks under the ink. And then it kind of they look like flowers where the white blobs were. And see all that crustiness under it in the blue? Come on, focus for mama. I won't have to do any PT today. I'll be having my arms up over my head for an hour. It's really funked up in there with it's all funky. But it looks cool for texture. Where the hell am I? I'm off the thing. Here's what I wanted to show you. See how that kind of blooms? And I just let it sit there and do what it was going to do, and that's what it did. They look like just blobs, kind of like that one right there looks at first. But most of them, depending on how wet it was, did that. And this is white where it went under the blue. So it's a good science experience. Thanks, Joe. This one, nah, alcohol ink. Nope. This one's kind of cool. Look at how fringy that is there. Isn't that wild? Hang on, something's beeping. Oh, that's why. Okay. You can see the rose gold in there, and then where this kind of pulled over here, bunch of square salt again. Do we have a scientist in the group that can figure that out? It's crazy. I love how that rose gold flashes, though. It didn't disperse as much as it usually does. Did some cool stuff there where it has that black outline to it. I must have dropped it on that, either the 700 or the Radiance Black, or Lunar Black, maybe. I don't know what the hell I was thinking with this one. It got a little crazy with the foil. I don't know what I was doing. But again, a lesson learned that I really like. See the texture in the foil from using a palette knife and snapping the glue up in the air off of that and letting it get tacky enough. And then you put the foil on it and you get that texture. I do like that. So good lesson for that. Bad overall. This one went south. It wasn't bad. And I don't know what the heck I used to. I bet this is alcohol ink that stayed in just the line where I put it. No, this is the gauze is still on there. This area over here looks pretty cool with the texture. But then I don't know what happened there with the foil. Not so much with that. Then I just start drawing on it with one of those little hot pens that you draw with through the foil, and it writes. I just started doodling on it, and I thought, oh, it's a goner. Another lesson to keep. This one, I think that's just nibs, and I don't think that's rose. Oh, you know what I think that is? I think that's the Ken Oliver liquid metals. You know he makes the powder. Hey, Tam. You know he makes the powdered little watercolors in the little white containers, squeeze containers with the long nozzle. He makes metallics that are liquid in those same containers. And I think that is either the pewter. I think it's called pewter. I use this on a lot of the tissue papers that I got real wet and threw all kind of inks and stuff at. And that looked really cool in there too. Didn't spread as much on here. But that's all that is nibs and salt. Why it did this, I don't remember. But close, it looks pretty cool. What the heck's happening? Oh, that's my 4 o'clock gabapentin reminder. And this one, I think this is what that was. I think it's that platinum or pewter. I forget. It's very shiny, but it doesn't move much. But some of these, the way the salt acted on this, I think this is nibs and radiant juniper green, I think. But that one's really crusty, like over the whole thing where I put the salt. And then this one, I don't know. I think this must be the radiant colors because they're really radiant. They're very bright. And this still has a lot of salt on it. And I think that has some of that platinum in there. But look at this bit here. All the little fine details that are in there where the water just had its way with the paints or inks, whatever, watercolors. I mean, you can't hate that. And then look at this little bit, how fine on that platinum the salt is compared to the salt next to it. It's the same salt. Come on. Well, I guess you know to believe me now. Oh, what the hell is this? Oh, this. So this was a geode I decided to collage over. I forgot that was in that same pile. So you can see the geode behind it. Most of it got covered, and you see it down here. Anywho, there you go. What are nibs? Nibs watercolors. And this one is called Lightning. I have quite a few of hers. She's in the UK. Actually, she named one of her colors Patti. Yes, she did. I'm trying to think of where Patti is. Where did I put Patti? Yeah, this one I set over here on the heater just to get the paint over. And the bronze is, as much as I love you, bronze, this isn't your medium. But I like how I don't know what all's in that dark blob there. But see all the little, you can see purple and black and the turquoise and all kind of stuff in there if you look at the right angle. But yeah, look, as much as I wet that, they still came out with nibs, pens, and inks. Thanks, Fran. Yep, so not a big fan of this one. It is what it is. You can't win them all. So hang on. Actually, I think this damn heat is warping my board. You gotta be kidding me. I'll turn it down there backwards and see if it evens out. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, this is going to be my favorite for the day. It's still not completely dry. Look at that eyeball looking at you. Ooh. I'm going to sit this one back down. I don't want to make the colors run where it's still a little bit wet. That one's almost perfectly round. I don't know how the hell that happened. Oh, here's the black one. Is that puddle still on there? Yep, it's still got a puddle. This is the one I sprinkled some of that glitter on. Eh. See the glitter shining through there. You can see the puddle moving too. But anyway, I'll leave that one down there. Actually, I think I'll put that on this heated board that's buckled. I think I have a couple. Oh yeah, the one with the raccoonish look. And oh, here's the first disaster of that bronze. Oh, that's when my bottle leaked and threw bronze paint all over the Yupo before I got started. Oh crap! Hold on. Oh, not as nimble as I used to be. I think that's the first one we played with. That has, see that purpley blue kind of inner ring? That's the Lisilinka that's in there. This was the bronze experiment that went wrong. Splatter. I was shaking the bottle and it splattered it everywhere. For those of you who weren't here to witness that disaster. I'll put that there. Okay, and then the other one, oh, that's the raccoon one. That's got a big puddle. And it really kind of washed out from what it looked like before. I might, you know what I might do? Oh, I can't really move this one so much. Oh, see, this is what you can't do. That's okay. That wasn't a masterpiece going to the Smithsonian or anything. So let's just, what I was going to do, and you can't see it, let's do that, is just, while this is still that wet, go in here and start to draw it out and let that kind of, it's adding more water, but at the same time, it's giving it more surface area. I think that'll help it. That saturated color sometimes is a little bit much. And see that resisting right there where I keep painting it, but it keeps pulling apart. I mean, the Yupo won't accept anything. That's probably a greasy fingerprint. Yeah, I'm just going to put a little bit more out here. I'm going to get wispier. I'm just going to let that sit there. We'll see what happens when she dries. Time lapse. I know they really do change. Some watercolors are more that you'll see them move and overtake a lot of the, like, I think is it Azo yellow. One of the yellows has a real, and like if you use core on watercolor, they'd probably move even more because they're made with something in the media in the binder to make them move more anyway. So this lightened up a lot after I put that salt on there. So anywho, there you have it. That's about the damage I did today, I think. Wow, this is like a hot plate over here with this board on the heater because this one's almost dry now. I mean, that's nothing to write home about, though. It's like, it's too much. It's because it's just all, it's too shiny. That's me saying that. I like shiny, but everything kind of like blended. This is that craft plastic. I know I have somewhere some of that Nara, Nara. I have a lot of the white Yupo, but I know I have black. Where the hell did I put it? I'm not going to do it today, but I am going to look for that. I'm standing here or sitting here looking at my shelves behind me to see if it jumps out. It's not jumping. I thought I had all the narrative. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, that's not other stuff. Nope, I got it somewhere. Pretty sure. Oh, well. For another day. Anywho, yeah, this may be one of the favorites. I do like the big turquoise eye though. A little spooky, but I like it. All right, kids, I'm gonna head upstairs and rustle up some grub for dinner for us, and I don't know what's going on next week. I know we have a Christmas party to go to on the 9th. I think that's Saturday. Yeah, because today's the 3rd. And next Sunday, I think I'm good to stream. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for hanging with me, guys. I appreciate it. Always have fun with you. Shannon, hi. Thank you. I will say hi to Dave CB. As long as you're not here trying to steal my man, I'll tell him you said hi. Still fiddling. Put the brush down and walk away. Thanks, Debbie. Appreciate it. Glad you could join us. All right, kids. Let me find the button and I'm going to end the pain. I'll take pictures of this later. We'll see where we end up. I can already see there's some real fine bits of salt where this puddle was there for a while. And there's some square ones over here. Somebody's got to figure that out. Somebody smarter than me. I might steal your dog, but not your man. They come as a set, I think. They're glued to one another. Every night, without fail, somewhere between 7 and 8-ish. Hang on. I'm going to show you this picture. Actually, Suzette made me a Christmas ornament out of this picture. Let me see if I can find it. They all look the same. I should just show you the latest one. But it's always so daggone cute. I can't resist taking a picture of it again and again and again. I could make a whole album out of those. Well, let's just do the last one because it's easier to find. Every night, Oakley jumps up, sits next to Dave on the sofa, and leans cheek to cheek against him and just stays there. Sometimes he throws his head back, tries to lick Dave's ear. But that every single night. God love them. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm really going. I will talk to you later. Thanks for hanging in. Bye.